works at bol.com. He's responsible for retail innovation, and he has taken a good, hard look at what's happening in China. And he is here to share it all with us today and blow our minds. Please, take us on a trip, Far East, everybody. Please welcome John Lin.
These are my grandparents. I call them Nanai, Geyeya. They were here on holiday a few years ago at my home, and they just had a flight of 15 hours. And the first thing that they asked wasn't, where's your toilet, or can I have something to drink? But what is your Wi-Fi password? Can you imagine, like, if two old people like this are stick to their phones, what the rest of China is like? I am a Dutch-born Chinese. Growing up in the Dutch culture is challenging. Like at work, my manager asked me, like, what do you think of the last meeting? What is your opinion about this? And I don't always have the opinion ready. It's not very Chinese, it's actually quite Dutch. Meanwhile, in China, I'm way too direct. Like people tell me, you shouldn't have said that, you harassed that other person. It's always quite hard to find the balance. And you also learn nothing is good and nothing is wrong. So there's always a good way to do something. At work and with my friends, I always notice we look a lot at the US for innovation. And it's a shame, because when you look at China, you see many wonderful things happening. And we don't see many of those things in the media because maybe they are different, the language is different, the culture barrier is big, and we don't understand really what's happening there. But today I want to show you that China is really on the front of retail, and they're innovating way harder than anything we can imagine here. So I want to take you on this trip. First a question, who think Amazon is the most innovative retailer? Okay. Quite a few. I want to challenge that. This is Amazon Prime Air. It's a drone it's one of the biggest hypes of 2017, and they deliver packages by drone. It's a pilot around Cambridge, and I think they're rolling out to other cities. They can lift up 2.5 kilograms and have a range of 25 kilometers. This is the drone of JD.com. They have 100 commercial routes in China. They can lift up to 100 kilograms and have a range of 100 kilometers. So why does this work in China? Why is it so different? The answer is in the background of this picture. It's a small rural village. The infrastructure is bad, so trucks and cars take hours to get to that village. And those drones don't only deliver packages, like shopping retail items, but also important things as medicine. And here you see that the government works hand in hand with the companies to make regulations easier to help those small remote villages. Another example, at the Amazon Go store. You go in, there's no cashier, you just grab your stuff, you walk out, and you've paid automatically. It's a beta on their campus. They have only one store, as far as I know, and they want to keep this tech for their own. So they don't want to roll this out to other retailers. These are the shops in China. There are hundreds of shops. They have multiple concepts, and the big parties that innovate this, like JD and Alibaba.com, plan to roll this out to their other retailers. So if you're a small retailer, you can ask Alibaba to help you. They will help to turn your shop into something really modern. So they help the bigger part of China to get digitized. And it gets way weirder in China. You can order your car online, and you go to a car vending machine, and you just drive it home. But also on the logistics front, China is innovating really quickly. Every new warehouse that's being built by JD or Alibaba is fully automated, because they understand on the long term that the wages in China cannot stay low. It's partly due to the one-child policy. It will accelerate population aging. So they need to innovate this to be ahead of that. But all these innovations are quite technical. We can copy them here. That's not very hard. They don't explain why Amazon is a seller on the Tmall platform. Like everywhere else in the world, Amazon is the one go-to stop shop. But not in China. You go to Taobao from Alibaba. So why can China move so much quicker? What's their secret? Leapfrogs. China leapfrogged from everything that they had. So China wants to become the number one economic power. And to do that, they need to invest in infrastructure, communications, healthcare, and all those kinds of things. And the best way to innovate really quickly is to leapfrog it. So leave everything you have behind and build something new entirely. The coolest example, I think, is the train network. This one old train can go 80 kph. It's very dirty. And in 10 years, China built the largest high-speed railroad network. Those trains go 400 kph, and they have around 1,200 to 1,500 kilometers of network. The same happened in communications. We went from the newspapers to the telephone to television, and in the end, we ended up with the smartphone. In China, they skipped from the traditional phone to the smartphone. So for most of the Chinese people, the smartphone is the first device where they interacted with the internet. And it creates an interesting demographic, because you see that in China has almost as much smartphone users as the US and the Europe combined. And that's only half of the population. Still, half of China is not online, so there's so much potential. All these Chinese people are online on just 2 platforms. Those are from Tencent and Alibaba. And you see here that Tencent has WeChat, QQ, and Tencent Video. Those are comparable to the WhatsApps, the YouTubes. And next to that, they have a big part in JD, a big retailer, and everything is being paid by WeChat Pay. Alibaba has something comparable. So they have the Chinese YouTube, the Chinese Facebook, the Chinese Netflix, and Tmall and Taobao comparable to the Amazons, and everything is being paid by Alipay. Together, those 2 companies have 80% of the social media, 85% of online retail, and 90% of the digital payment. This is quite abstract, so what does it mean in real life? App management. It's way easier in China. We here in the West have multiple apps, multiple small platforms where we can do our stuff. In China, you need only 2 apps to do everything. This has big implications for shopping. Like here, we go to Google and go to a retailer, we put the product in the shopping basket, go to the checkout, get like 4 or 5 different payment methods, go to our email to see the order confirmation, and then when we want to track where our package is, we go to the site of the dropshipper. In China, it's easier. You just never leave the app. And this is called frictionless shopping, and in China they call it social e-commerce. And the biggest result of social commerce is this day. Who knows what it is? Singles Day, yes. I first experienced Singles Day in 2013 when I was studying in Shanghai. This was my campus, and it was the day after Singles Day. So I was thinking, whoa, this mailman doesn't do his job right. So that afternoon, I had a culture class, and the professor told me, you should be really glad that the package is even in the neighborhood. Because this day is so hyped, it's not of the scale of any European or US company. So since I work at bol.com, I have more feeling about package volume, since we are the biggest retailer of the Netherlands and Belgium. So I tried to put it on a scale. So as the biggest retailer, this is our total yearly shipping volume. And we're the biggest retailer. This is the biggest posters company in the Netherlands. These are all the packages Amazon are sending worldwide. And this is what Alibaba is doing on Singles Day. Yeah. The rest of Alibaba is off the charts. The interesting thing of this chart is that Alibaba still makes less money than Amazon. Amazon makes way more revenue and way more profit. So this means that Chinese people are ordering small stuff online, candies, like lipstick, articles, less than €5. So what has happened in China that you can order small stuff so easily? And why are Chinese people so engaged in shopping and buying all those small stuff online? So to show you more about, I want to show you how WeChat works and how Chinese people live in their daily life. This is a WeChat chat, just like WhatsApp. A friend sends you a link. Hey, this is a cool product, you need to buy this. Or actually maybe a bag of chips. You click on it, you go to a product page, and you can order it and pay directly. And you haven't left the app. Next, you go to your Moments feed inside WeChat. This is the same as your Facebook news feed. And you see a celebrity promoting a new product. And you see all the buttons, and you can buy it directly. So your new phone gets delivered the same day at home. You have paid for it, and you still haven't left the app. Then you scroll further, and it's evening time, and you want to eat food, and you see friends dinnering out at a nice restaurant. And you click on it, and you can order food. It gets delivered at your house in 30 minutes. You've paid for it, and you still haven't left the app. It's like a digital amusement park. Everything you click has direct consequences in the real world. And in China, whole business models are built on this. The number 3 retailer, Pinduoduo, is a retailer which thrives on WeChat. So you cannot buy a product directly. It's comparable to a Groupon. You need to find friends and family who commit to buy the product together with you. And when you find enough friends, you get like 80 or 90% discount. So they use your social network to generate sales. And it's made easy because of WeChat, because you can click on it and buy it immediately. You don't have to go to any place else. And I think they got around 20% market share in 1 or 2 years in China. You can imagine when companies have so much data about you because you never leave the app, it's quite a responsibility. And what can you do with all this data? And in China, you see something very creative happening. This is an example of Fisher-Price. They wanted to sell their children's product in China, but the culture is different. People are different there. So what Alibaba did was they used their customer reviews, their click data, the return data, and helped them develop products specifically tailored for Chinese children. And the same happened with Listerine. Their product was selling really badly in China. So also going through all this data of what customers thought of your product. And they created Listerine Vanilla Breeze and Rosemary Blossom, just for the Chinese market. And what you're actually doing here is a win-win. So you help the manufacturer to lower its product development costs, and you give the people a product they really want. So it's not a push from the manufacturer anymore. It's really the product for the consumer. The next thing I want to talk about is omnichannel. So when you combine online and offline retail. This is a supermarket called Gema. You see your order picker here. She gets an order from the app online. They go to the shelf, grab the products, and your order gets flown through the shop. They deliver those orders within 30 minutes. But that's not all. When you're in the store and you don't want to go to the busy Shanghai traffic, you pick the products you want, put them in a basket, give them to someone there, and you choose a 30-minute slot and they deliver it. But that's not all. You still have one type of customer. You have one type of customer that goes to the supermarket every day and buy the groceries for one day. They have a solution for that. You can just let them cook there. Eat the groceries you just bought and let the chef make it. So they merged online and offline in one concept. And those stores are on very expensive real estate, so they need the online volume to exist. So online saves the offline store here. This concept is called new retail. And you see in China, you see lots of these kinds of innovations. Here you have an unlimited shelf. So if your size isn't there, just click it, it gets delivered. And this push to new retail started with Jack Ma. His vision is that clicks and mortar need to work together to let the digital economy become the economy. So online and offline cannot exist next to each other. They need to become one. And they have lots of innovations like these, but I want to point out one. Those are the dad and mom stores. They are quite messy, jam-packed, but cozy. Those will be wiped out by e-commerce. And what Alibaba and JD do, what they together do in their new business proposal, they come to you and ask you, do you want to join us in the new digital era? So you say yes, and your whole store gets a leapfrog. You get their inventory systems, checkout systems, customer recognition systems. And the funny thing is, Alibaba has closed an online-offline learning loop. So they know what's offline. So when a customer walks in the street and they want a product, oh, you can just pick it up there. But they can also say to the same seller, hey, we see in your area that something sells really good, so you should put more stock on this shelf. And when you as a consumer enter the store, they know who you are, and they know what you like, so the store people can help you better. So I told you a lot of things. I want you guys to take home 3 takeaways. China is the most innovative on the aspect of retail. They find real customer problems and try to fix those. And also get inspired by how Chinese define platforms. Their definition is way broader than anything we know here in the West. And the last thing, omnichannel is just a buzzword in Europe and US. But in China, it's not about online versus offline or how you combine them. It's really about redefining retail as a whole.